to southern and eastern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Hundreds of people around Mount Sterling are asking for answers after a popular pawn shop was raided, leaving behind many pawned items they had given for a loan. The items were not seized and the owners are now in jail, leaving nobody to operate the store. Nick Oliver spoke to deputies today about what's next.
I had no idea that they was into all that.
The news of a massive gun, stolen property, and drug bust inside Layton's Pawn is still making its way around the Mount Sterling community. Law enforcement saying the actions of owner Scott Hardy and his sister Beth Willis created a direct pipeline for drugs to travel all through the county.
If you're going to do business the right way.
With the shop now closed, many are hoping they can be reunited with their stolen property, like this handgun only issued to veterans during Operation Enduring Freedom. They are still looking for its owner.
And we're taking information as fast as we can.
For others, their property is still inside that pawn shop.
Very frustrating.
Yul Cassidy pawned his $700 radio for a loan to purchase Christmas gifts, planning to later pay it back.
Since they shut it down, there's no way of actually how are people supposed to get their stuff back.
At the end of the day, officials say this whole situation is unfortunate, but they aren't a pawn shop, and anybody that has pawned goods now simply has to wait. Deputies say they have spoken to other employees outside of the owners who are now in jail. They tell officials they are working on a resolution. Officers only seized what was illegal. In Mount Sterling, Nick Oliver, WYMT Mountain News.
Deputies are encouraging anyone who may believe their stolen items may have been recovered to contact Mount Sterling Police with details of what was stolen. As for the store, nobody knows when or if it will reopen. The search is on in Ashland for a shooter. They found a man around midnight at a Boyd County home shot in the head. Now that man is at Cabell Huntington Hospital with life-threatening injuries. This is video of the home where the shooting happened. Police say they do have a description of the shooter, but no arrests have been made. Good Samaritans stopped to help a wreck victim, only to become victims of a bizarre crime. Police in Lincoln County say a crash victim stole the car of the people who stopped to help him, then drove that car with one of them inside to Berea. The man who stopped to help was hanging onto his car while police say Raymond McCollum drove off. About 2 hours later, the car was spotted in Berea after McCollum threw the woman the keys to the car and went inside a restaurant.
The wife that was inside the vehicle, she fought with him trying to get him out of the vehicle. The elderly man attempted to get into the vehicle and stop the subject from taking off, and he was drugged down the road.
McCollum remains in jail facing serious charges of kidnapping, robbery, and theft. He was found inside that restaurant eating chicken. Tomorrow, friends and family will say goodbye to a Knott County Sheriff's deputy that died unexpectedly. Deputy Bobby Jacobs collapsed at the sheriff's office earlier this week. The group supporting Heroes says he suffered a heart attack hours after responding to a call. His funeral will be tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock at the Knott Central High School gym. Deputy Jacobs was 47 years old. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation says they identified the man they believe to be responsible for a 30-year-old murder. Investigators say Jerry Johns is suspected of killing Tina Farmer. They began looking into him during a murder investigation in Knox County, Tennessee. Investigators said DNA evidence connected Johns to the crime. He died in prison. TBI says they are still investigating the possibility that Johns was connected to a string of killings known as the Redhead murders.
And the sunshine finally returned today. It was still a little bit on the cooler side today, but at least we got a little bit of that sunshine. We actually saw plenty of it throughout the day as we look at the National Weather Service camera in Jackson. Really not a cloud in the sky, and now we are looking at a gorgeous sunset over there. Looking into downtown Whitesburg, you see the sun setting as well. 39 degrees, so a little bit on the chilly side. Some of us might not have gotten into the 40s today. Others did. Cumberland Valley, I know, was a little bit on the warmer side. I think most of them were into about the low to mid 40s. You can see right now a lot of us into the upper 30s to lower 40s, those mid 30s, especially if you're looking up to the north towards Moorhead and over into Prestonsburg. So as we head throughout the rest of the evening, continuing to see that sunshine and that sun setting, upper 30s for a lot of us, lower 30s by right around 11 o'clock tonight. And as we head into the overnight hours, going to be another chilly one, but temperatures increase for your Friday, and so do those clouds. I'll have those details coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thank you, Paige. The weather we've seen this year is making it difficult for some Kentucky farmers. The issues first began with the drought at the end of summer, which caused grasses in pasture to grow poorly, leading many farmers to supplement their livestock with extra feed and hay earlier than usual. Following the drought conditions, our pattern then flipped into above average rainfall during the rest of the bay cutting season, meaning the cuts of hay farmers were able to produce typically were not nutrient rich, which is what farmers need for the winter months.
In the worst cases, it becomes filler. And so they eat it typically, but that material is in their churning actually taking energy to digest. And so they may not be getting as much out of it as it actually takes for them to digest it.
Fortunately, with a warm-up and drier conditions coming in the next week, Sears says this will help relieve any extra stress on livestock and their owners. The University of Kentucky will soon raise the starting pay for employees. The university says beginning on July 1st of next year, starting pay for regular employees will increase from $10.40 an hour to $12.50. UK is also increasing the number of sick days for employees, as well as how many sick days they can take for parental leave. UK is also upping its commitment to employees' retirement savings plans. One local law enforcement agency is helping box up a little hope this holiday season. WYMT's Madison program shows us what you can do to help here in Hazard.
As lights are strung and wreaths are hung, Christmas cheer fills the air. But for some, their bellies might be empty.
We just came together and was trying to decide what can we do for our community, especially during one of the most needy times of the year.
Hazard Police Department trying to fill that need.
There's nothing more discouraging for us as police officers to show up on scene and see that a family may not have food.
James East, deputy chief, says deciding to host a food drive. Now they want the community to help bring hope to those families.
We've had lots of individuals and we've had lots of businesses and churches that have called us and said, hey, we've got some food to donate.
And like the community always does, they met the request with love.
It's mostly going to be non-perishable items, canned goods, shelf items, but I know that we've got a huge amount of potatoes.
Helping people meet their needs.
And it just really makes you feel good to know that you was able to help them out in some way.
And restoring some hope and joy this holiday season, one box at a time. In Hazard, Madison Pergram, WYMT Mountain News.
The giveaway will begin at 11 a.m. Saturday at the Forum in Hazard. The food boxes will be given away on a first-come, first-served basis. If you would still like to donate food, you can drop that off at the Hazard Police Department today and tomorrow. Today marks a big day for one Whitley County native. 1 year ago tonight, Nick Wilson became the sole survivor in the season David versus Goliath. And last night we learned he is returning to Fiji. This time he'll compete against 19 other previous winners. Today Nick posted on Facebook it was a quick turnaround for him, but he says it was a no-brainer to go back to compete in possibly the biggest season of reality TV history. Season 40 premieres in February here on WYMT. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, the new trade deal with Mexico and Canada is one step closer to making it through Congress. Hear reaction and the impact for businesses after weather.
And we're going to continue to see those temperatures rise as we head into your Friday and into the weekend along with that dry stretch. And does that continue as we head into your Christmas? I'll have those details coming up in just a little bit.
Coming up, college students have spent months putting together more than 50 beds just to see smiles on kids' faces this Saturday. We'll have more in just a few minutes.